There we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the upper right. Quite the underdog, but definitely a fan favorite. It's MichaeL. And his opponent, he's the world champ, but not playing his main race. He's playing Orc this time. It's Infi. And your casters for the first game of Group D, Remo and Todd.
Infi apparently said that he was gonna show people how to play against Crypt Lords in this matchup here with Orc, because some Orcs have been having some trouble against it, but it's not even a Crypt Lord here being used, it's a Death Knight, so... What do you think he was playing something very specific, Remo, or if there had been a Crypt Lord?
There are some newer routes nowadays to take, like Farseer Fast Headhunter against the Crypt Lord expansion, Blade Master Heavy Creeping, Tier 3 Counter Expo. These seem to be the newest developments that I'm aware of, but that is not the case from the Orcish side here of Infi, going for a Farseer standard grunt opening, which was pretty much the meta on this map before the Crypt Lord came and rose to relevance, because on Concealed Hill what we saw pretty much all the time was Farseer, lots of grunts early, oftentimes with a 2-burrow tech. This time only with a 1-burrow though. Creep up to level 3 quickly, tech to tier 2, and then make use of that super strong mid-game level 3 Farseer by pressuring the undead, getting the TC to creep the natural, and then tier 2 expand and mass. This strat, specifically the one that I just described, should be on paper pretty bad against Crypt Lord, because, well, the undead goes for the expansion anyways, and he gets it first, and you would leave him alone. And in fact, there's no scouting going on at all by Infi. We see his vision, it's very limited. He has no scout out of any kind, whether it be wolves, grunts, or peons. So for all he knows, this could be a Crypt Lord creeping up his natural right now. But it seems like he has a hard read that it's going to be a DK Fiend standard play. And if he does have that read, then he's absolutely right.
And it's not something where, like, you scout a Death Knight, it's like, oh my god, he went Death Knight, I'm so disappointed. No, actually, like, it's totally fine. It used to be the standard. It used to be the build that we would see every game. Death Knights into Fiends, and then just, like, normal play. You know, Lich second. You rely a lot on Frost Armor here versus Orc. It's interesting how Infi designs his base, by the way, right? Like, he's not an organic Orc in that it's not his main race. He's usually a human player, but he very well might be the best random player in the world. So what do you make of this base? Like, are you okay with it? Or I guess now that you have fortified on tier 2, it's less scary to have some burrows a little bit more forward.
Yeah, nowadays against undead, most of the time it's not really important how you set up your base with like blocks and burrow positioning and so on, because normally undeads don't push anymore. Destroyer pushes is something that was seen a lot in the past. Oh, little creep jag here. Last hit goes to the Farseer, but I guess now has to back up with a nice block. Perhaps he can force a TP over here. Yeah. Oh, coil, right clicks, trying to make it to the fountain.
Oops.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a TP. The next coil is ready. 70 damage on level 1.
It would be a bad time for your hotkeys not to work, by the way. You have the inventory hotkeys. Here goes the numlock. It wasn't enabled.
Yeah, losing the TP that early can be problematic later on, but the Farseer got pretty good experience. And again, reaching down to level 3 is so important. Back to the point about base layout. Yeah, Destroyer pushes used to be played in the past, but because how heavily they fall off against Orc in the late game, playing heavy Destroyers, normally we don't see it much anymore. And of course, reinforced defenses.
Farseer waits until the last second.
That was pretty close.
Yeah, do not try this with 200 MS. Probably will not work. Yeah, Farseer able to heal behind this, and he can resume creeping, but he's not going for the small turtle at the bottom. If he's headed towards the expo, which will be scouted immediately here by an Acolytes. And on the other side, we got Death Knights working towards level 3.
With only 2 grunts, can you creep this already? This looks pretty hard to do. Okay, but Infi's feeling confident. With some purges against the wolves, this becomes even harder to do. He's staying on 2 grunts only? Wait a minute. This looks kind of weird. And Shadow Hunter.
Yeah, I think the thing is, even if you take a bunch of damage here, like let's say you run out of salves, you still have fountains on this map to heal. So it makes it a lot better to try and go for these harder camps. If you know that you're safe, like right now he knows very well that MichaeL will be on the other side of the map and creeping his Death Knight to 3, which is about to get here from that last Kobold. But yeah, just the Bestiary second, Shadowhunter, and I see a Peon headed for the expansion. So it looks like an expansion here from Infi. Maybe just a pure hit and run style, but already having lost the town portal here is going to be a big handicap.
Both players have had plenty of opportunity to think about their game plans, what they want to do, and it looks like we're going to be seeing exactly the same builds again. Bottom left, Infi with a standard Grunt opening with most likely a Farseer, and no Crypt Lord here by MichaeL, just standard Ted Fiends.
Yeah, they're just going to do the exact same, I think, even as far as like creeping goes. If we look at last game, at the moment it crashed, both players at hero level 3, not much was happening. I mean, the Farseer kind of ran into the Death Knight, but he wasn't exactly like in immediate danger. So it's always kind of sad, right? Like the game drops, and then it's like 50-50. They've both did all these things, and then that are not gonna matter because we have to but I guess that's just the way it is. And now I wouldn't be surprised if they played almost entirely the same. I guess last game Infi was going across the map pretty early with the Farseer. He might creep a little more this time around.
Yeah, I think last game he went for the Ogre camp outside his base first, and then he went north to the Spider Crab camp, and also scouting at the enemy natural for a possible expansion, if it should in fact be the Crypt Lord with Fast Expo. It's hard to pull off on this map, but not entirely impossible. The Asians and the NetEase server seem to be a little less prone to the Crypt Lord play, seem to be a little slower at adapting to it compared to the many undeads in Europe. And now that the Crypt Lord has been nerfed again, it seems like once again the interest has subsided for pretty much everyone.
Yeah, tech on 20 here from Infi. So yes, quite a few peons on number already. He's gonna drop that second burrow. And on the other side, we see MichaeL creeping the small camp near his base, just on the one Ziggurat. You do want to take fairly fast with this build as well. And the exact same scout at last game from the Wolf here. Gonna be headed across the map. We got Gloves of Haste on the Farseer and Circlet on the Death Knight. Oh, the Acolyte? I thought he was gonna try to headbutt that Spirit Wolf, but not quite.
Forces are under attack.
Needs a little more damage to kill that Spirit Wolf.
What do you mean? He's faster than him?
That was pretty fun, right? When the Acolytes first got speed buffed and they were as fast as Footmen. Oh, good times.
They were faster than Footmen, weren't they?
I thought they were the same. Were they actually faster? If they were, that's pretty crazy.
Where do you think the meme Lamborghini Acolytes comes from?
Yeah, they're still kind of Lamborghinis, like maybe only in the second gear or something.
Players' forces are under attack.
So just creeping up here so far, level 2 reached. I guess it's gonna be about a fast level 3. But Infi did change up his creep route, right?
Yeah, he didn't go across the map. Don't you think it would be worth for Lucifer to get something like, I guess there's fountains on this map, but getting a sacrificial skull to creep like a hard camp now would be really nice, I think. Because it would keep,
yeah, especially he likes to do that. It's normally his specialty, indeed. But I guess for the merchant, he doesn't need it. The gold mine is really hard to creep with all the poison, and the lab might be too close to the opponent. But yeah, there's definitely some cases where they can be helpful.
And there is already a third Ziggurat here from Lucifer, by the way. Oh, MichaeL, should I say. It's usually like you want to stay on double Ziggurats and then starts your second hero and then tier 3, but maybe he wants to keep that Acolyte alive. So if you're on 26 out of 30, obviously you only got 4 free supply, you can't get second hero. Interesting. Usually a lot of players, they would just lose that one Acolyte. Death Knight with Rejuvenation Potion, that's really nice. Gonna bring him back to full hit points and also replenish all of his mana as he gets level 3. So we might get to find out if those burrows were really exposed like we talked about before the previous game, if MichaeL gets to attack. But Infi already cleared the Expo, and he gets Talisman of Evasion.
Yeah, for the Farseer himself, not so good, but later on for the TC, it could be quite nice to improve his tankiness. Getting a Talisman is basically like going from 0 to 3 armor, so it is a lot of damage reduction from attacks, that is. Not from nukes, of course.
Dude, you see that? This is the same position and timing as it was last game when it dropped. Exact same position. The Farseer ran into the army, did the same.
Oh, the first grunt is going to go down. A little too far forward there, perhaps. Level 2 coil definitely doing good damage. And this is the first big win here for MichaeL. Waiting for a second hero. Lich on the way. Tier 3 coming up. For a second there with the 6 Acolyte, I was wondering if perhaps he's going to be going for a Tier 2 expansion. That's something we've seen a few undeads doing, but only very few indeed. Normally it's still all the undeads trying to rush Tier 3 to get to destroyers, to fight against the wolves, and also against the Hex, as again we have the Shadowhunter second.
MichaeL on 31 out of 40 supply. He literally made the third ziggurat just to be able not to have to kill his own acolyte. It's very rare that I've seen something like that.
I guess he's saving a little bit of gold, having 6 acolytes, and he doesn't have to pull one from the mine whenever he has to make buildings, but...
Oh, he's gonna see the shockwave! Oh, he knows that this is there, and there is some big nuke potential. Death Knight might be able to get it. There might be a Hex. Oh, and it went Frost Armor, so he didn't have Nova. So Infi gets it, he gets out, and he has Medallion of Courage from this.
Not the big drop he was hoping for, but I guess it's okay for a Farseer. Should he go Tier 3? Should he go TC then? It's pretty good on him.
Look at this, he's looking
But the
for
expansion is coming up, and as long as that doesn't get cancelled, I think Infi's kind of satisfied with this.
And it's gonna get perfectly scouted here. Very nice skeletons being sent by MichaeL, who pulled back home. He knew that Infi wanted to play aggressive, so he played it safe. And Infi's already getting pillage.
Oh yeah, Raider Lame coming in. And once you open up the labs, you can also go for Zeppelins, drop into the back into the Haunted Gold Mine. That can be quite effective. I think MichaeL kind of missed his cancel timing. I think once you have 3 Fiends and level 3 DK, you're supposed to just run past the Orc before their Shadowhunter and cancel his expansion. That's exactly what Infi was trying to prevent when he was losing that one grunt in the middle. He made sure that his expansion survived. That was the more important thing to do. And I think MichaeL got a little bit distracted. Loses 1 Fiend here now also. Lots of Hex invested and Ensnare. Again, it's all about Infi trying to distract from his expansion, which is about to finish.
Very clean micro from Infi, actually. Like, obviously, he ensnared the Fiend and went for it, but he timed the Hex perfectly. And he made sure that even though MichaeL has Burrow, he couldn't use that, basically. That's really, really cool. Look at this, he's setting up on the left side. 2 Raiders, 2 Grunts. He's ready for the counterattack. Leave your base, I dare you. Go ahead, push my Expo. See what happens. He doesn't have a speed scroll. And he's only massing Raiders now.
A player's forces are under
I
attack.
could see Wind Riders and Zeppelins also coming in at some point. Maybe some Liquid Fire Bats, but that is far down the tech tree. Now Infi falls back the first time again in a while to creep up a little bit. Level 3 Shadowhunter would be wonderful to have, but he's still soaking up experience with the Farseer. I'm not so sure that I like that, but he's creeping faster. Oh, Scroll of the Beast! That can be amazing for sniping the Haunted Goldmine in the back. Is he gonna go for that Zeppelin?
And MichaeL made a 4th ghoul. I'm not sure why. Exactly, I guess he wants to work with more woods. Fully knowing that there is an Expo on the other side of the map. This is almost like Infi's reaction to the Orcs expanding. Instead of pushing the Expo, which can be really hard because you're on the side of the map of the opponent, he counter Expos. It's the same here. Farseer with the Invisibility Potion looking to cancel that gold mine. Very good guess by Infi that this was going to be there. And he's going to get it pretty easily.
Yeah, this is so cool. Serves a double purpose here. The Farseer cancels the Expo timing, which is really important. Might be able to take out the Acolyte and forces the Undead army back. And in the meantime, the Zeppelin is underway. The Doom drop into the Undead base. With the Scroll of the Beast, maybe this is unsavable. This Haunted.
Forces are under attack.
If MichaeL TPs instantly and uses the Destroyer for the spell, that's what he has to try to do to save it, but it might not be enough.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage. And Infi's doing such a good job distracting him around the expo as well. All right, here we go. Drop inside of the main base. He's going to stuff the Farseer there even to get some extra wolves. Doesn't use Crawl of the Beast yet. And I think he's going to have to TP very quick. Oh, there he goes. And that gold mine is going to die so fast. All of the Acolytes for Snare, none of them could repair. And wolves are headed for the expo in the meantime. Oh my god, if he can get that cancelled.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Is that enough damage? If that's enough damage, that just looks like a checkmate play.
I think it is. And in the
Zeppelin
meantime,
Raider drops.
oh my god.
GG!
He was doing tier 3 in the meantime. He was staying under 50. He made that look like that was the easiest match of his career.
That's a world champion for you, ladies and gentlemen. And how good. It's kind of... It's the thing that Lucifer or MichaeL is falling to for like 5 years. This keeps on happening to him. And Infi is an absolute beast in doing stuff like this. Like we saw it working against Happy. And this is just god level of Zeppelin dropping. The way he prepared this, the way he executed this, flawless.
Yeah.
I think
And MichaeL, I think you should have been scouting for a little bit more. You know, there's always a danger, especially when you see Raiders and Shadowhunter. You have to know it's Raider lame all the way. That was a mistake, and I think also in the early game, not canceling the expansion was a mistake. But you're right, Infi played this really well.
Yeah, he understands so well like everything about the game, like the movement, where the opponent's going to be at all times. I really like that he went for the lab actually, because like I think MichaeL was expecting him to counter attack as soon as he moved out. So Infi kind of played that mind game of, oh, he probably thinks that, so I'm going to go and creep an extra camp instead. Gets to Scroll of the Beast, perfect item to get a snipe on the gold mine, and then he gets it pretty easily behind that.
All right, then let's take a look into the map picks and bans here, as we didn't talk about this previous to the game. Last Refuge and Amazonia out for Infi, Echo and Twisted out for MichaeL. We saw Infi's map CH, and now we go on to Michael's territory, that is Northern Isles.
Yeah, when I first saw the vetoes this morning, I was like, what the hell? What are these guys vetoing? And then I remembered, right. He's not playing human. That's why. And yeah, for those races, it doesn't make sense. Twisted Meadows was always feared by Undead against Orc because of the triple hero threat. And Echo Isles because of the claws, I guess. Yeah, I think the vetoes here are kind of standard. Oh,
We'll see if he goes for the same style here, but that worked out so well, honestly. Like, I don't think you need to change too much. Obviously, on this map, I always feel like the lab on this map is like very hard to creep. I don't know about you guys, but it's like deceiving, you know? You go there and then suddenly like you're getting wrecked by this
everything's
big guy.
getting slowed. There's inner fire everywhere. Just everything's so tanky. True.
Every time I think the same, I'm like, wow, that went south quick. As I lose like 2 footmen.
And then you get a Ring of Protection +4, right?
That's obvious, of course. We don't need to mention that.
Or Crystal Ball, also, you know.
All right, we're loading into the game already. That is match points for Infi, who could make his way into the winner bracket final right here of Group D. Waiting for one player at the moment, so time for us to take a look at this bracket. The opponent is not gonna be Infi and easy, that's for sure. It's gonna be either Fortitude or Fly. But alright, I see MichaeL moving, I see Infi moving, I see Remo and Todd casting this game.
Let's get into it. Our second map. Are we going to see something different here? Or both? Or at least is MichaeL going to adhere to the standard once again? We look at the bases, we look at the builds, and indeed we see a return perhaps to Papa Roach. It's a ghoul build, which normally means Cryptlord nowadays. Cryptlord Fast Expo. And this is what I'm really interested in seeing. Because Todd, you mentioned it earlier. Infi said he is going to show the world how to play against Cryptlord properly.
Yeah, and to be fair, considering how our last game looked like, I believe him fully right now. I think he could definitely show us. At this point, honestly, when I watch Infi play, I think if there was some sort of Murloc race, even without heroes, he still would be able to play them and beat most people. Like, there is not many people that I think you can look at and be like, okay, well, this guy was just born to play video games, and in particular Warcraft 3. But I think players like Infi, Moon, they are exactly just that. Like when I watch them play, I'm like, this is not even like somebody playing video games. This is just pure art. And no matter what race he plays, Infi just seems to be able to show us that time after time.
Totally agree with that. Some players just, it's a marvel to see them play. Just beautiful. I could count Lin among those also. So Infi again with the Farseer Grunt opening. This can apply a decent bit of pressure early, but if he goes for a one burrow tech once more, which seems like exactly that is going to be what he's doing, then only one Grunt out for a long time should mean that MichaeL is supposed to get this expansion up rather uncontested. Would love for this Acolyte also. Oh wait, he didn't send out a fast scout Acolyte. Okay, so he doesn't know what exactly Infi is doing. That's kind of weird. When we see the other European top undeads do this, they send an Acolyte out early. If the Farseer is scouting creeping a camp first, then you go for the instant expo harass. And if he's coming to harass you, then you creep a smaller camp first. But MichaeL is kind of rolling the dice, hoping that he's going to be left alone for the expansion creep right away. But no, here comes Infi, ready to harass.
The Sacrificial Skull was already dropped. First thing that Infi goes for is the Acolyte here. He's going to be able to get it. And he stole one of the... No, he didn't. That was the Acolyte experience. Almost gets this one, but not quite. And MichaeL's going for the Grunt, gets the surround. Can that get freed or not?
Oh, that's still blocked. That looks weird. But yeah, that Grunt goes down. Did he deny it?
Yeah. Oh, no, he didn't.
I think he didn't quite, right? Yeah.
It looked like it did, but then I look at the XP on the Crypt Lord, it sure didn't. And there is so much damage that I don't think he can get this steal, can he? Nope. MichaeL not gonna take the risk. Gets a cross of attack +9. And now he's gonna start the expo pretty quickly. Barely is gonna have the wood here in a second. And I like this start here for MichaeL.
A player's forces are
Yeah,
under
so
attack.
far this counter Crypt Lord play by Infi, which he said he knew exactly how to do, isn't looking that amazing. We saw the problem here of playing Grunts against Crypt Lord. They're always, obviously, melee, so they have to run into range, and with that, always run the risk of getting surrounded, because the Undead with this strategy has so many units early on. There's the big benefit of playing Headhunters early. You can play from range, keep on kiting, and, at least in theory, aren't supposed to get surrounded, and aren't supposed to risk your units at all times, like you are with Grunts. And then losing that first Grunt, especially on a one burrow tech, hurts. Infi still wants to try to delay this expansion. Can he do it, though? The Ziggurat is soon finishing, and then a Narrow Tower coming.
Yeah, I feel like MichaeL's playing overly safe. I don't think he needed to make the Ziggurat this quick. He could have just made the gold mine. And also, he made a Nerubian tower in the main base. I don't know what exactly he was afraid of. Like, even if Infi had gone for the main base, he had some ghouls there. He could have run back. Acolytes regenerates hit points super fast on Blight. And he has a full mana Crypt Lord for the longest time now, so he has the potential for Impel Surround. So I don't really like that he played that safe. Maybe it's because he's against Infi and he was worried about certain attacks, but definitely could have gotten away with a quicker gold mine.
I guess he's satisfied as long as it finishes without getting cancelled, which seems to be the case now. More and more Acolytes coming. An early Graveyard before the tech. Normally we see a tech first, then into Graveyard, and a few towers oftentimes. What we have seen from a lot of the Western players against Crypt Lord is, even if you can't cast the expansion too much, what you want to do is creep aggressively to make sure the Crypt Lord has a tough time getting to 3, and also making it later hard for the DK to level up then. But Infi now is creeping quite passively at his own natural, wants to, I guess, prioritize counter-expanding here soon.
The Crypt Lord's working towards getting level 3 here. Pretty sure it's going to go for the Tusker camp here up next. But Spirit Lodge almost done. A little bit unconventional to not go for Spirit Walkers. Usually against Crypt Lord you will see Spirit Walkers being used because it's an AoE dispel that you can work with and remove those beetles very easily. But in this case, it looks like Shaman's going to be the choice. Maybe because the hit points on the beetles were lowered, so now Purge is going to be a little bit more effective.
But especially Purge, like it does 400 damage on summons, right? So in that case, it shouldn't make much of a difference. I always feel like the really nice thing about playing Spirit Lodge is you can mix in one Witch Doctor and plaster the map with sentries really early. And of course, there's also detection against beetles, but he's not starting with the Witch Doctor. It is one Shaman first into then Witch Doctor. Okay, we still see the Doc. I like that. And Wyvern quickly going into Wind Riders. Of course, for a long time, there will be no Fiends and Web. But I'm pretty sure those will be joining quite soon.
Yeah, I don't know about dropping an Expo on its own here against the Crypt Lords. I think some Beatles might have something to say about that, but we see a Peon in position already. MichaeL's towering up the expansion. And yeah, just the double Crypt here is very standard. Usually you're going to want to transition into Fiends already, unless you want to play a Ghoul-heavy composition, but against Thorn Chieftain, that could be very scary. And he dispatches single Wyvern here to help against the Beatles on the Expo. There is Burrow available. And MichaeL, so far, not using that, but now the Witch Doctor is there. He's getting engaged at the same time. The Thorn Chieftain has the Speed Scroll, but he's trapped. No, he barely makes it out. Ooh, that was close. And the item might go to MichaeL now because of that.
And it's big experience right here. If the Cripple gets level 4 quickly, like many of the Strength heroes, he becomes very strong, as both his spells become powerful on level 2. Did not steal that last hit, I think, with the Chain Lightning. Didn't seem to be quite in time. And also now stealing the items from the shop. Invul and Heal Scroll both go to MichaeL. Of course, he has a lot of resources here to work with. Tier 2 about to finish, and Fiends already on their way.
Yeah, there's a Beetle in the main base, but I think MichaeL didn't put that on the Thorn Chieftain. He could have cancelled the salve. That would have been very nice. And it looks like Infi is going to be able to finish here, that Null Overseer. Crippler coming back in, but he doesn't have mana for Impel. So that's going to be Thorn Chieftain level 2. Flute of Accuracy. As the Expo still hasn't gone down, Shaman's going to remove the Scarron Beetles out of the field.
Players' forces are under attack.
For the Wind Riders, of course, this Flute is amazing. And Wind Riders, just in theory, against Crippler are supposed to work really well. They don't give him corpses to raise beetles. And also, you can't impale them, even if they are webbed. But if they are webbed, they can get focused down by Fiends quite easily. And we see more and more Fiends coming in, Web being upgraded. Tier 3 on the way, Death Knight second. MichaeL is getting ready for the late game.
Yeah, Mana Stone's very nice. A pickup here for Infi on his Thorn Chieftain. He's gonna have a ton of mana to work with. That's a lot of stomps that he can go for down the line. I'm really shocked at how safe MichaeL is playing. He upgraded the Spirit Tower in his main base while he was fighting the Orc the entire game in the center of the map. Like, what was he afraid of?
Yeah, seems definitely a little over-concerned. But perhaps his thought process is, as long as he makes sure he doesn't die, he is just normally in a very good spot with his fast expansion. As now his tech is starting to come online, Slaughterhouse about to finish, DK coming out. But I like now the aggressive creeping by Infi. This is exactly what you really have to do against a fast expanding undead. Creep aggressively on their side of the map, so that at least the second and third heroes will have a very tough time leveling up.
Genjing here. Webs the Wyvern. That Stomp actually didn't land on everything, but there's going to be a TP forced here. Because I think Infi realized he was going to lose. Oh, the Witch Doctor dies just before the Town Portal goes off. So as soon as those Sentry Wards expire, he's not going to be able to replace that unless he remakes one of those. And look at this. MichaeL confident enough to go for the red camp immediately here with the Magnetor, hoping for a brilliant item.
Players' forces are under attack.
A brilliant item indeed. That would be the best one, the Brilliance Aura. He's not giving solo XP to the DK, which I always dislike. It's so little. Look at this. Crippler got barely any experience from this, and the DK would benefit so much from getting level 2 and level 3 quickly. But of course also it slows down the speed at which you can take this camp. So at least it's level 2 DK now. It is the Aura.
Where are the Shamans going? If they get impaled, they're gonna die very quick.
A player's forces are under attack.
Still Team
I
6
guess.
over there. We're looking for purges.
Yeah, ready to dispel these beetles. Needs to send them back quick. As you said, Impale could be their end. But they do retreat. And quite a bit of experience here going Infi's way. 4-3 hero levels now. TC close to 4 as well. He found the Pendant. Very nice. Big Invul also good. He is tier 3 now. Could go for a third hero. Shadow Hunter can be very strong third hero here as well, just for the Hex on level 1, and if you get him to 3, also for the heal wave, very good.
Yeah, so MichaeL already broke upkeep. I think this is not the best time right now for him to fight. Yeah, he's just gonna get out. Because he has a lot of units in production. We see Infi still on 47 supply, so he's trying to bank a little bit of gold before he finally breaks. It's really weird to see End Venom Spears out of one single bestiary, I gotta say.
How many Wyvern does he have? 2?
2.
Okay.
And he never remade that one Witch Doctor, so the Sentry Wards, they're gonna be gone in a bit. To be honest, they still last a very long time, especially the run around the Expo was dropped very late. But yeah, there's Orb. Lich is on the way, and Lich is the big power spike here. And once you have Orb, all bets are off. You can fight a lot better, do very well in those fights.
Yeah, focusing on the Lich here might be the right idea. You can take out so much damage from that, and the DK still doesn't have level 2 Coil, because the Crypt Lord took up so much of the experience from earlier. Impale could be dangerous against the Farseer. With a Nova focus, he might be dead! The Lich was just barely not in range. Or does he have Frost Armor first? No, it is Nova.
MichaeL has such a big army, 66 supply right now. So he's gonna do that orange, and then I think he's gonna go for the red on the bottom right. And I don't know if Infi is gonna be ready on time to contest. Mana Pendant on the Torrent Chieftain is really nice. Greater Invuln as well, but that Farseer is struggling a little bit to heal on time. Bloodlust is almost done. Are you gonna make that sound again, Remo?
Rawr, rawr, rawr. Certainly. Now, Infi probably feels he should contest this. He shouldn't give the Undead so much experience. But how can he with only 56 supply? And where's his damage? As soon as these Wyvern get webbed and killed, which can be happening very quickly, then he's gonna have a severe lack of damage. There's no Blade Master here, no crits, no, I don't know, torrents. It is pretty low DPS here, this army, especially once a few Impales come in to disable the Orc army.
Oh, look at this. MichaeL sending ghouls through the left sides. So he's going to hit the Expo while he's doing the red on the bottom right. And he's basically saying you can't be in both places at once. And in this case, we don't even have a town portal. I guess he could... No, stuff is also on cooldown. 25 more seconds.
Bloodlusted Wyvern. It's like we're an RT, boys. They're going to go over to the expansion. The ghouls there should be dealt with then. How many ghouls does MichaeL have left? 2 only. Okay, that could be a little lumber problematic later. It's the red camp, and it is the Catgust pipe now. Great, amazing, amazing item for the Undead.
Okay, Infi, you said you're going to show us how to play against Crypt Lord. I don't know. This is looking pretty good for MichaeL, I feel like, right now. But he does have Bloodlusted Wyverns. Can they do enough? 78 supply to 65. And those Fiends, they got 2-1 upgrades. There is the +3 attack on the way. And this army of Undead is looking so scary. There's just a single healing scroll. Might be good to grab maybe a little more. He does have some mana potions to work with. Actually, just the one on the Crypt Lord.
A player's forces are
If the TC lands the sickest stomps, then maybe.
Yeah.
But there's so much pressure on the execution here for Infi.
I mean,
He has to stun this backline like crazy.
I'm surprised you don't get an Invis potion, but I think the priority is maybe getting more units right now. I like that he remade a Doctor, because he's going to see this army coming in and really set up. Look, he's presetting the Concave here, so that Impale doesn't hit too much, and Nova as well. And then, if MichaeL goes up, he has to go through this really tight choke. That's where the TC comes in and engages into him.
All right, in we go.
a player's
Infi is
forces
going
are
to take
under
this
attack.
battle out in the open. TC into the front line. How good are these stomps going to be? He gets impaled right away, not getting focused though. Windrider's getting webbed. Stomp hits a couple of Fiends, but there's so many Fiends still left. And Venom Spear's damage is starting to stack up. We have the next Impale coming in, and they level 5 on the Crypt Lord. Should be Impale in this case, I guess, and this Coda Beast just gets deleted. That's a lot of damage missing now. The Aura gone. The next stop is going to be beautiful, though. TC waiting for the perfect opportunity, and there it is. Coil misses, not quite in time. TC has one more stomp at the very least. Pops the Invul, dodges the Impale with that. Perfect timing right there. And wait a minute. All the units are dropping really low here for MichaeL. Perhaps this can be held by Infi. Mass burrows coming in. There's still destroyers left, by the way. Those weren't taken out. The Dispel is still very strong over here. Farsi has to be carefully super hurt in the back. Koinova could be his end, or also the TCs. Yup, he's gonna die. The cow hits the deck. That's the GG and the 1-1.
I got worried for a second because he impelled against an invuln TC, so that missed, but there was just too much army, and very well played by MichaeL, who brings it back.
Yeah, really well executed. A little similar to how Infi played on Concealed. He was, especially in the late game, like these run-bys, putting up multiple challenges for Infi. I really liked that. I didn't expect it at all. And this didn't seem to be the best strategy for Infi. I guess he had really good items, but sometimes that's not enough.
He had some good and some bad ones, right? He did find Crystal Ball.
He had a mana stone, he had a pendant of energy, he had a flute. I think he won't complain about that.
But I must say I'm a little bit disappointed here by Infi's bold statements. I'm going to show you how to play against Cryptlord. That looked really standard and not very effective. It was just a Farseer harassing on level 1 with 1 grunt, which got surrounded. I guess you can say, okay, that's not the perfect execution. But even with perfect execution, there's only so much you can do with 1 grunt and 1 Farseer. You cannot prevent the expansion. Absolutely not. And you also can't delay it by much either. But if you let the expansion come up, then at least be able to counter expand quickly or creep very aggressively. The creeping part worked okay, but the counter expo came up so late because he didn't go for the tiny Great Hall, but rather tried to go for the normal one, which the Beatles easily cancelled. So honestly, I have seen much stronger orc counterplay against Cryptlord before. Much stronger than what we just saw.
All right, maybe he has a different solution on the next map. It's going to be Terraner's Stand. We go into a little break beforehand, and then we conclude series number 1. Alright guys, we are back with game number 3 between the world champ Infi and MichaeL, and at the moment it's 1-1, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't go into a game 3. Not too many people would have thought that, to be honest, but MichaeL, that didn't seem like luck. That did seem like a well-executed Crypt Lord expansion, playing it very, very safe, and now we will decide this. Winner bracket final, calling for the winner of Terran Stand.
And if there is a strong macro map to play fast expansion on, then Terran Stand is certainly just that. In the past, this very often was vetoed by undeads, as undeads weren't able to expand very well, especially before Crypt Lord, at least early, and there were no critters. But that was changed. The Crypt Lord now is very popular, quite strong, and there are critters now here as well. So I'm certainly expecting the Crypt Lord Fast Expo here once more. The build by MichaeL looks to be exactly that. Ghouls and Crypt Lord probably coming, with the same build also by Infi. He normally never plays Blade Master, so we can definitely expect a Farseer. But how is he gonna pressure? How is he gonna expand? What's his game plan down the road?
I wonder, like, does he play as aggressive? On this map, it's really tough. Like, the rush distance is pretty long. We saw that the Grunt wasn't really doing anything last game. There is a chance Infi just creeps the shop, the Mercamp, and then either plays aggressive or expands himself. But he hasn't sent out any peon to drop down the shop. Neither is he scouting so far. Drops down the second burrow. And last game we saw that MichaeL sold his town portal. But you're still very safe when you do that, because the Crypt Lord is very tanky. And by the time you put him down low hit points, you know, all the creeps on the expo would have died. He would have gone in level 2 a lot of the time, and then already have Impel.
Yeah, what you mentioned in the last game was the consideration between the Dispel abilities on tier 2 for Orc, so the choice between Shaman and Walkers. And I think especially nowadays, Walkers are just so much more enticing. With a health nerf to the level 2 beetles, one disenchant almost one-shots the beetles. Not quite. I think they have like 50 HP left or something like that. But it's pretty damn close, you know? Whereas with the Purge, you have so much overkill damage. You get the Sentry Wards with the Doctors, which is really nice, but AoE Dispel is just so valuable against a Crypt Lord, who is going for the instant expansion again. Once more, MichaeL does this without scouting anything, and this time he's not going to be pressured, because we do see, in fact, the Lightning Shield creep here from the Farseer. A lot of experience early. Also, Mercamp access early, which is very good, and a couple of items to boot.
Now the question is, does Infi play aggressive or does he expand? It looks like he's headed across the map, so yeah, he's going to want to put pressure on that expo. That's Pendant of Energy is like the dream, the absolute dream. Almost 300 mana on that Crypt Lord. He's going to be able to have multiple impels available. And if that rush fails here, like if you lose a lot of units, don't kill so much against an expansion, you are going to find yourself super far behind here as Infi.
Wait, where are all the beetles?
Yeah, he's prioritized getting skeletons. And again here. With the,
He only summoned one set of beetles?
He's saving mana for impels, looks like.
Okay, he's getting the Grunt. And one wolf as well, perhaps? Oh, nice save there. But the expansion is still not coming up. MichaeL now has the resources for it. There we go.
Never took off shadows on the Farseer. So even if he impels, that can be hidden. But there is a dust on the Crypt Lord. But there is an invuln on the Farseer. Oh, it doesn't break out. He still doesn't break out. There's going to be a TP.
He can just hold this. That's a big waste of the big invul. Oh! What?
Oh,
no. Okay, it was worth it. Definitely a mistake there by MichaeL. Could have held that surround.
And a single wolf sneaked into the main base and killed a ghoul that was there. You can see the corpse above the gold mine.
What a guy.
If he had made him TP here, this would have been so good for MichaeL. But the fact that there's still a town portal. We saw what Infi did earlier in map number 1. That was very one-sided. There is still fairly easy access to Zeppelins on this map. Especially if you drop inside of the main base. Like, a lot of the time, the guy that you're dropping will be very far out on the map. And then if that gold mine dies quickly, they're in big trouble. Ring Cloak of Shadows, by the way, on Infi. I had never seen that on him before. Sorry,
Yeah, I thought that never happened in his games. What's happening here,
Players'
Todd?
forces are under
Well,
What the hell?
he might be losing.
So both heroes close to level 3. Oh, this would be a crucial timing for the cancel. Does he have the damage for this is the question. Crypt Lord, a little slow to react. This Impale might make all the difference in the world. How well can he land it? How much damage can he prevent? Needs to use the Impale. Perfectly. Does it? On the units. And the Haunted. Does it finish? Aggro repair. Yep. Has to TP out. Oh,
my God.
But he can't because he's impaled! The narrow tower got the last hit though, so he didn't get the experience. But the Farseer is still dead. That is very lucky and unlucky at the same time.
Yeah, kill on a level 2 hero like this. You'll trust me, you'll take that. You'll be pretty happy with it. Because he doesn't go for Necropolis on the expansion, Lucifer has to make a few more acolytes here from the main Necropolis, and then he's going to be taking. On the other side, we got Lodge again and Bestiary again. He's just going to play the exact same here, Will Infi. Oh, Rejuvenation Potion.
Oh, that's very nice. Pop that bad boy. And here we go. Now we have level 2 Beetles. AKA, he can creep pretty much everything on the map. Again, Michael playing it really safe. He goes for a graveyard and towers before the tech. And a Necro before the tech. Yeah, I'm on your side. I think he's playing a little overly safe.
Yeah. Like, there's no timing that could come right now. I think if you prioritize tech, then gets his towers, then I understand, but this feels like it's way too early.
Another
Actually, it's gonna make me self-conscious, because sometimes I do the same. Like, I'm doing well in the game, and I'm just like, tower up now. But now I can see like how bad it looks when you're watching the game. It's like you could have cut that corner for sure. It's not even cutting a corner, it's just adapting to the situation.
It's a lot of ghouls and beetles coming up north, looking for the Expo cancel. Expo cancel was a crucial part of game 1. And again, this will be happening here. Infi trying not to get anything surrounded. Getting level 2 now, and the aura will help with that.
Those boots are amazing.
A player's forces are under attack.
Ah, yeah, he has the boots, you're right. Only 4 out of 5 acolytes in the gold mine, by the way, at the expo. Slightly triggering. But the Necro will finish.
Oh, that's weird. He had the extra acolyte here earlier. What happened? Some ghouls getting caught. I'm surprised that Shadow Priest survived, actually. Usually you can leave like 1 beetle on it. And it will do the job. But yeah, we got a Witch Doctor on the way. And Infi's gonna start an expansion, but there's a beetle that sees it.
Another question is, how does Michael most effectively play this mid game for the Crypt Lord? I think creeping is a really dangerous proposition, because the more you creep, the more you first of all allow your opponent to creep, and the more the map runs out of neutral creeps and experience to gain. Ideally, you want to be able to level up your DK and Lich later on also. So playing aggressively definitely has big benefits, but it's also risky. As of course, there's going to be catch on the Orc side, there's going to be Stomp, there's going to be Purge, perhaps even Ensnare. But normally here is where the Beetles come in, where they, by themselves oftentimes, can be quite effective at harassing. There was one Beetle still scouting, now getting taken out. We do have the Witch Doctor with the sentries again, so plenty of map vision here very soon for Infi.
That one Wyvern. It's having some fun by itself on the other side of the map. Of course, Infi knows that there's not going to be any sort of tier 2 reach just yet. We're getting very close. So there's no risk of any gargoyles or web. But it will be there eventually. And MichaeL actually queued a bunch of upgrades here. Creature attack, creature carapace. He's obviously going to want to be going into a lot of fiends, much like we saw last game.
But it seems like the X will be finishing sooner this time. Leaving behind Shaman, making sure this one won't be getting cancelled. Crypt Lord still very out of mana. Tier 2 was finally reached. And now comes the DK. And more fiends. And a Slaughterhouse. But I feel like this tier 2 for Michael could have been so faster.
Yeah. You could have rushed that for sure. And he's creeping with the ghouls, so he only has 2 ghouls mining woods. And right now his wood's not too bad, but he's gonna have to make a lot of wood-intensive stuff there eventually. But I guess he's gonna build a bank maybe before. And yeah, he's sending back some of the injured ghouls. Maybe even mining around the expo might be good there. Instead of making it like all the way back into the main base. Gets one of the wins. Death Knight's almost out. And yeah, that Cripple's not working with a lot of mana. He's already spent all of that on beetles right now.
Continuing to creep hard. DK is out. And Web is coming. Very aggressive creeping now by Infi. Is going to be very happy to see that he can steal this Merc camp away from the opponent. And that is going to leave barely any camps at all to this DK. Buys the staff here, which is cool. Staffing in, getting some of the experience at the lab. And Lionhorn, by the way. Great find for the Undead.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you go to like straight to AT supply, which is the plan here. Having that extra armor is obviously going to be pretty amazing. He gets attacked in his base. And Torn Chieftain with Lightning Shield headed forward. Okay, he's going to head right out. And 2 beetles are headed for the expo, and there's nothing there, not even a burrow. It's going to be pretty annoying. I guess he can send the wyverns to deal with this very quickly. There is the sentry ward in position. So burrow wouldn't save those beetles. What is this posse up to?
Cheeky plays, going for the invis and the dust, so he can't be revealed over here. Unless we have something from the lab. Wait, is he stuck? No. Okay, he's fine. He's fine.
No way, he's going for acolytes. He has 2 claws. He has claws +9 and +6. If he can kill 2 or 3 acolytes and then get out, it's worth.
Hell yeah.
Forces are under attack.
That's a great little attack. If this forces the undead back, amazing. And if not, this is still a good bit of economic damage.
Oh my god. He kills a ghoul, he kills 2 acolytes. Might be able to get a little bit more.
If the Lich comes out with a Nova, though, he needs to be careful. Okay. Makes sure he's not overstaying his welcome. DK gets level 2 at least, but once more, no level 3 early for this DK at all.
And second bestiary this time for Infi, who's in a much better spot in terms of experience, items, and even supply here. He's already on 54 and he's building quad the bank. So it's going to be very different than last game. You know, last game he was trailing behind in supply when MichaeL finally attacked, but now we got the Lich with the orb. And MichaeL's moving out. He's about to have +2 attack for his fiends.
Yeah, upgrades do make a really big difference. I think also armor here shouldn't be neglected. He has the first armor upgrade already. Yeah, getting to 1-1, 2-2, 3-2 quickly can be very powerful. And only dual hero here for Infi. That's always a problem in the super late game if you play only dual versus triple hero. That usually leads to you getting outscaled at some point.
In the last game, MichaeL actually impelled just the single Torn Chieftain to make sure he couldn't get in and stomp him many times. Ideally, you want to get as much as the army of the opponent as possible, so let's see in this game how well he manages that. Destroy already morphed in advance here. 68 supply for the undead, 66 for the orc. Already got Bloodlust available. He's not bloodlusting in advance. Like, I think he's gonna wait until the last seconds. And MichaeL's expanding one more time, so he might not plan to attack at all, despite posturing forward here.
And there's no sentry down there. I think that's a bit of a mistake on the Witch Doctor control. Ideally, you want to have a sentry there to cover that. So this may come as a surprise for Infi. There's still 1 green camp left down there, but that wouldn't lead to level ups, would it? No, DK and Lich still far away from their next level. But Infi now, first time looking confident, moving out on the map. He's going to get a freebie right here with the statue.
Yeah, I think
MichaeL falls back.
That expansion will be cancelled. Actually, it might finish, then get killed. If Infi wants to wait for that, but it can be risky. Because then if you fight and it's finished and you lose the fight, the opponent's mining from that immediately. Is he trying to bait him to go down? No, I think, yeah, MichaeL knows that the army is around. Vito's in the top right. Not on their watch. Well, actually, they are not quite attacking the tower yet.
Is it out of vision range? No. Okay.
Do you think 2 destroyers is enough against this many bloodlusted units?
A player's forces are
It's a double-edged sword. Like, they can be really good, but you have to be on top of your control, because if they're standing inside the Wyvern for a little too long, they get sniped very quickly. So in we go. Popping the invul right away to not get impaled, and the Wind Riders all get webbed. They get taken out pretty quickly, but so do the destroyers, I suppose. We have the next stomp coming in. Beautiful stomp. This TC once again is delivering. But the Wind Riders, we see the problem. They're getting taken out quickly. But the Crypt Fiends possibly even faster. The TC going for the Crypt Lord. He's in trouble. Where's the coil? It's not ready. TP last second. And Infi takes a very convincing fight here. Takes out much of the enemy army. And one thing that was definitely lacking there was heal scrolls for the undead. With 1 or 2 heal scrolls, it could have looked very different for MichaeL. But losing that fight might mean losing this expo.
Yeah, and I think some splits would have been amazing as well. If he could just spread out his army a little more. You know, he's so focused on using all of his spells perfectly, but he's not paying attention to moving his army out of the way. That Torrent Chieftain, once it's in the epicenter of everything, just does too much with those tombs.
And he's moving forward once again. Getting impaled, getting slowed down here a little, but he gets level 5. Oh, using the Wand of the Wind, but there's Purge against it. And now we have the long stomp. The Lich in trouble, no way to heal him. Trying to transfer something, maybe. Next impale comes in. But he has to fall back. MichaeL has to retreat. He doesn't have enough healing. This DK not being level 3 is a big problem in this late game.
Yeah, he forgot that he had Wand of the Wind for all this time. Actually, the Shamans are completely out of mana right now. But it feels like a lot of supply was already lost to its point where MichaeL's quite a bit behind. He misrallied some Fiends near his main base. 2 of them are down there. Okay, he finally realizes. I think if you know the opponent doesn't have third base yet, just sit back, take your time. But I mean, obviously, Torrent Chieftain being level 5 here is always such a scary prospect. And the Ziggurats were overkill, by the way. He was already out of 80. So, and he made 3 of them on the expo. I think maybe making more units, making sure you're on 80 might have been better. You only need 1 Nerubian tower, and then 80 supply orc can't break it. We all know that as well.
10 demolishers not enough. He needs heal scrolls. Like, I hope he learned from this last engagement. He needs heal scrolls super bad. MichaeL does. He's still mining off of 2 bases here for quite some time. Not close to running out. I think Undead traditionally is the race who plays heal scrolls the least, values heal scrolls the least, but in this kind of game, you definitely need them.
MichaeL's about to be 2-2 upgrades, and he's already queued the +3 attack, so great upgrades all around. I guess you go Impale level 3 when you do finally reach that Crippler level 5, yeah. I think his micro needs to be better in the fights, though. I mean, I know it's easy to observe and be like, oh yeah, you should do this, 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 and this, but that would help MichaeL so much if he could split just a little better.
He is close to very impactful level ups here. DK3, Cryptlord 5. Wait, how much do the new beetles have now on an HP? It's like 410, so it's basically perfectly 1 purge. So I guess he should rather go Impale.
You know, I feel like I hadn't seen this many Wyverns since like 2004 Zakard when he was playing that Farseer TC Mass Wyvern power creeping style. Which back then was played with Shockwave, but that is a lot of Wind Riders. They only won 1 though. Kind of underwhelming upgrade, but he's already queued 2-2. If he attacks now though, +2 attack will not be done on time. But I think Infi does not want these towers to go up before he gets there. There's a single one of the wind charge. We saw Infi being very reactive. Again, the invuln to avoid the impale.
Yeah, and that's all the Fiends getting hit, getting stunned for an insanely long time. Perfect invul there, trying to reposition with the Fiends, but man, these stomps are just too insane. The Wind Riders aren't dying anymore, and everything is dying for MichaeL instead. Kodo B still alive, can't get taken out. Oh my god, he is just rolling over this undead army. Going for the Trip Lord next with a few purges, perhaps he gets this kill. Maybe a nice chain lightning to finish the job, doesn't even need it. Double level 6 towards the end, double